let's jump to the movie of the week. And this week, this is a weird pick for me. It's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End from 2007. Let me be abundantly clear. I did not enjoy this movie, but simultaneously, I did not hate this movie. I thought it was tolerable. It was a fine way to enjoy nearly 3 hours of my life. Okay, that's my first issue with this movie. 3 hours for a Pirates of the Caribbean movie? What the hell are you doing? Cut it down by 45 minutes. Make it 2 hours tops. Come on. 3 hours? You're joking. But I am not picking this movie for any reason other than it made me feel nostalgia. But nostalgia for a time that I never existed in. I never lived in this era unless I had previous lives, which I'm not aware of, which would be amazing. How cool would that be, learning, oh my gosh, I lived in the 17 and 1800s as a pirate, 17 and 1800s as a lighthouse keeper, and then in the 70s as a lighthouse keeper that fought Scooby-Doo and the entire gang. Anyway, the thing that made me enjoy this, again, was not the movie, but it made me nostalgic for a time where there was still mystery. And what I mean by that is so much unknown. There would be sailors who end up at bars on shore talking about giant sea monsters that swallow ships up whole. There are sirens that draw you in so you crash into the rocks. It's just such a fascinating time. And that's what made me love. I long for a time with more mystery and more unknown. Maybe it's just that I'm older and more bitter and jaded now. But when I was a kid, it felt like there was still so much unknown. There was still so much excitement. There was, oh, we're going back into space. We got the space shuttle program. Oh my gosh, James Cameron is going deep into the sea. You can go to the Arctic. It seemed like there was still a lot of exciting expeditions happening, and that was exhilarating to think of yourself in these expeditions, going on adventures. Maybe nowadays that still exists. I'm just not aware of it. But to me, it seems like science answers everything, and that's good and all because it solves a lot of problems. But at the same time, I'm just left thinking, come on, I want a little bit of mythology. I want a little bit of unknown. I want a little bit of mystery. I guess that's where the paranormal podcast and Jim Harold's Campfire come in. We get that. We get that mystery, that unexplained, that unsolved mysteries. Maybe that's what it was, unsolved mysteries. If anybody knows what this episode was, I saw this as a kid. It screwed me up so bad. At least it's still stuck with me. And I saw this decades ago. It was an unsolved mysteries about a train track. And there would be a green light floating on the train track, and they would drive through it on the train and then look out the back, and then the green light would still be floating in the middle of the train tracks. There was nobody there. There was nobody holding a lantern or anything. And it had something to do with a ghost, somebody who had been run over on the train tracks or something. I don't know. But that one stuck with me, the idea of just a floating green light in the middle of a train track. Tell me which one it was, because I want to see that again. I want to relive that sense of mystery, because everything, oh, here's the answer. Don't put out mis and disinformation. How about I want mis and disinformation? I want to be mystified. I want to be confused by stuff. But no, everything has to be exact. How boring a world we live in. So that's why I liked Pirates of the Caribbean. Jeez Louise. I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is why I edit. I've only done, 3-4 edits, which is amazing because normally I do 25, 30 edits because I try to be perfect with what I'm trying to say, especially when discussing more controversial topics. I try to make sure that I do not misspeak because although I am saying I really enjoy mystery and all of that, I do believe in responsibility of platform. And as my audience grew on this channel, but more importantly on the main channel on Podcastage, I felt more obligation to ensure that I'm being fair, I'm spending sufficient time with the gear to actually understand it, and that I am not getting anything wrong. I still will screw up from time to time, but as my audience grew, I felt a much stronger responsibility to make sure that I'm not getting anything wrong. So I do believe in a responsibility of platform, even though I want that mystery. I want that unsolved whatever.